let's talk about a couple of these really quick. And it goes right along with that theme of the dirty, the gross, the disgusting workplace. Give it to me, Brandon.
I said like dangerous working areas.
Okay, number one, we have a dangerous setup. Like, you could get seriously hurt at work. Okay? Go for it, Nathan.
Lower pay.
Lower pay. Your wages are going to be really bad. You know, wages were bad for everybody working in these type of conditions at the turn of the century. But for immigrants, even worse probably, right? Greg?
Fewer jobs.
Fewer jobs? What do you mean? Explain.
Because with more people coming into the country, there's going to be more people taking jobs and more people who are unemployed.
Okay, so you're saying because of this huge rush of immigration, it's going to be harder to get those jobs. Even if they are bad jobs, harder to find. Elise?
Long, excruciating hours.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're going to be forced to work extremely long hours. That goes along with what Greg's saying, right? If there's fewer jobs, that means once you do get these employees working for you, if you're the factory owner, if you're the boss, you're going to really work them hard. Because they have no other choice. They have no other alternatives, right? David, really quick.
Discrimination?
What do you mean?
Well, there were some people that couldn't get a job because of their reason.
Absolutely.
Ethnicity?
Ethnicity? Yeah. We think of black and white today because that's kind of what we struggle with in our society.
Well, Chinese, the Asian immigrants.
Very
like
good.
that too.
Their ethnic, their country of origin, their religion. Okay, you're a Catholic, we're not going to hire you. You're a Jew, we're not going to hire you. That was something they faced.
Diseases.
Diseases, explain.
By how dark it is and how moldy it sometimes gets, plus all the smoke they turn on the furnaces, getting your lungs, tuberculosis.
Sanitation didn't exist, right? The idea that we need to clean stuff, prevent the spread of disease, etc. We talked about running water and sewage issues. One more, Taylor, we're going to stop.
Nativists didn't want the immigrants taking their jobs.
Nativist, excellent use of vocabulary term there. Didn't want those Americans, right? They're Native Americans, but not Indians. Didn't want all these other people taking their jobs. So there's competition. Beautiful. All right. So the scrap piece of paper, I don't need it. You keep a hold of it. But let's kind of use these ideas you were just talking about. All of these bad things are happening in the workplace. And what we're going to talk about today is kind of the culmination of this. We have a tragedy that happens. One of these workplaces actually catches on fire, and because of the poor working conditions and all the immigrant women in there, and the way that they're packed in there, most of them die, yeah. And what we're going to talk about is called the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. It happens in 1911. I'm going to give you a bunch of resources, some documents to look over momentarily. But where I want to go with this, we have a great tragedy because of all these bad issues that you guys just brought up. What happens in our society when we have an instance like this, a tragedy, something bad? And let me give you kind of an example. Newtown, Connecticut. We had a big school shooting there about, 8-9 months ago. A lot of people died. What do you hear in the weeks and days and months after a tragedy like a school shooting? What do you hear on the news? What are people talking about?
Suffering?
Gun restrictions, laws. You're talking about changes and reforms to the system, right? Because obviously something was broken because this tragedy happened. So we have to reform. Let's write that word down. You know, what's a synonym for reform? What's another word? Change, right? Typically, it means for the better, right? You're not going to reform something for the worse, you wouldn't think. But reform is where we're going to go today. So, in looking at this Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, we're going to explore how all those bad things you said eventually will lead to reform, but it took a bad tragedy to do it. 140-some girls died in a matter of minutes. So that's where we're going to go today. So, what I want to do right now, who's my secretary? Potts, he's going to lose that job.
And give it back to
you got
me.
it. You come up here and help too, Tristan. You come too. Everybody gets one of these? Tristan, everybody gets one of these. You got to go like hyper speed.
He's already done with 3 rows and you're on your first.
And those are big thick packets. You want me to help you out? No, you got it?
I need one more.
I
I mean, no, I'm not
What do you
using
need?
this.
I'm missing a paper.
You should not need any more
I'm
packets.
missing a paper.
It's his fault.
Hey Tristan.
You're a very
missing a
bad
paper.
secretary.
How many packets short are you? Just one? I got some extra seat. Okay, Bailey, you're good. You can take a seat. I can handle it from here. Thanks, Phil.
No. Give a little view of the class. I have.
Here you go. There's the packet and the reading up front. Okay, let's talk about the packet first. Stop throwing things as well. Let's talk about the packet first. I want to show you what we're looking at, and then I'll explain to you the activities we're going to do in class today. So, well, I guess I don't have a packet myself to show you. Elise, DC, you're all right. On the front here, you have an article that's titled Leap for Life, Leap of Death. And what it's going to do is give you a summary of events, basically. It's going to tell you about this triangle shirtwaist, what it was, what they were doing there, the makeup of the workers, which many of them were young immigrant girls. So this is where I want everyone to start. I want you to read this front and back, okay? You'll have some good knowledge of what we're talking about. It'll kind of set things up for you. Now, the rest of this is like a document packet, kind of like that DBQ thing we did a couple weeks ago, but this has got a little more pizzazz to it. You've got 9 different documents, or sources, as it's stated on here. Most of them are pictures, okay? Most of them, for you visual learners, you've got pictures, you've got political cartoons, and a brief explanation by each one, a caption of what you're seeing. Does everyone see that? Buzz through here, pictures, cartoons, all the way to source 7. Source 7 is a picture of a newspaper in New York City, the day after this tragedy strikes. So you can see the headlines. I don't think you can read the actual articles, but source 8 is an actual article out of that newspaper. So you can read a first-hand account of a newspaper reporter that was there. Finally, source 9, another picture. Okay, does everyone understand the contents of this packet right now? Good? All right, I'll give that back to you, Elise. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at this activity sheet. And this is going to be your directions for what you're going to do for the remainder of the class hour. You're going to have 3 tasks to do for me today, okay? Elise, what's wrong? You look angry. You all right? Okay. Task 1. Examine 4 of the documents out of the 9. Pick any 4 that you want. And for each one of those, you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences that explain what I'm looking at, what is this document, but more importantly, why is it important? And I phrase that a little differently here. I say, how could a historian use it when studying reform efforts of the late 19th century? But, I mean, let's break that down. How is it important? That's what we're going for there. Okay, any questions over task 1? Picking 4 of the 9 documents. Question, Bailey? Good. Task 2. Pick one of the remaining documents that you didn't use in task 1. Okay? Pick one of those 9 documents, pictures that you believe to be the most valuable in terms of the reform needed in the workplace. So now you're looking for the one that really speaks to you. Like, whoa, this really shows me how bad the situation was. Okay? And you're going to use this to establish an argument. You know, this is where we're going to work on our historic writing, where we, want to argue a point and prove why we are right. Explain in detail why you believe this issue is the most important. This should be 1 paragraph in length. John, can I help you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. This should be 1 paragraph in length. Okay? You are making an argument. Now, take a look at the back of this sheet. What do you have there? A rubric. Now, the top is the rubric for task 2. Okay? Very detailed explanations on what's expected of you. Alright? Task 3, let's move on. Flip it back over. Task 3, you have your choice of what you want to do. There are 3 different options. There are 3 different options for task 3. You pick one of the 3. Option 1, write an editorial column for a newspaper. Task 2, or option 2, draw your own political cartoon depicting the incident. Option 3, develop a set of standards for health, working conditions, safety standards, okay? Now, for whichever one you pick for task 3, I provided a rubric also for that. Any questions? I know it seems like it's coming at you a lot right now. Take one task at a time, cross it off the list. Cameron, you have a question?
When's this due?
Hopefully the end of the hour. Last hour, probably 75% of people got it done.
If we don't, is it due
If you don't, it'll be due tomorrow.
or Monday?
I want to show you this. On the bottom, I've got a chunk here that says, how will you be assessed? Basically, what are you turning into me? You know, how am I grading it? It's an explanation there. I'll let you kind of look over that. But bottom line, task 1, I'm not going to be grading it. You're not going to turn it in. I'm just going to walk around, make sure you've completed it, you've understood it, answer any questions you might have. Task 2 and task 3 will be handed in and will be graded using this rubric, which is right here. Okay? Taylor, do you have a question?
Yeah, for task 3, what if we draw a cartoon? Do you want to start a couple sentences explaining why it's like? it has to be-
You know, I'd rather you not, because the whole idea of a political cartoon is, you know, the image is going to do the talking, right? So if your image is good enough, you shouldn't need to give a big long explanation, but I like the idea. I've got some computer paper up here if you want to do that. Now, for today's project, I'm going to allow you to work with a partner, because when we're working with these primary sources like this, you know, one of you might understand it, another one might be like, I have no idea what's going on here. So I've assigned you a partner, okay? I've assigned you a partner. You check it out up here, and I know it's the old thing, I don't like him or I don't like her. Guess what? I don't get to choose the people I work with, okay? I'm not going to stick you with this person for the rest of the school year. We'll rotate it around. All right, so find your partner. Step 1 is to read that first reading. Then you can dive into the tasks. Any questions? Nothing? Let's get into it. You can stop it there.